All right, Arnold.
Is that going to stay?
Yes, it is. It's sort of shocking, isn't it? I'm Bud. This is Arnold. Okay, Arnold. So our goal today. So we've been talking about this weight thing, and Scott Burton, now living in Australia, New South Wales, where Sydney is, said, you know, I really would like to know sort of the final answer as to weight gain during hypertrophy. And you know, we had a little back and forth in comments on that podcast. You know, in the comment section of the podcast, muscleventures.com, so I think a few things came to light, and then we had some discussion afterwards, and a few more things came to light. So if you were looking at overall weight gain during a year of training for a show, okay, so if you were thinking about hypertrophy and then you attempt to diet down, what are you looking at in terms of targets? And, you know, and you can state them in percentages and so on and so forth versus, you know, saying, well, I weigh, you know, 152.8 today, and I'd like to weigh 167.9 or something.
Well, I still think that's a hard question to answer. Because as we both know, we never came up with any definitives in terms of how much muscle one can put on in 11 or 12 months' time.
Yeah.
And the research out there is obviously limited.
Right. So you have to take a guess. And quite frankly, I think a reasonable amount would be that 15% above competition weight. Okay.
And I don't know what that leaves me in terms of when the next competition rolls around and then I diet down, how many pounds is going to be quality muscle. Kind of a guessing game. We'll have to find out then.
Well, so what do you think? Now, John Yao's theory was that you could put on 8 pounds of muscle and that you would lose 2 during the dieting phase for a total gain of 6.
I guess it's possible.
Okay.
8 pounds seems like an awful lot.
Now, why does it seem like a lot to you?
Quality muscle is hard to come by.
Well, I mean, why do you think? See, I think a man can gain 10 pounds of muscle without any artificial.
I think a man might be able to gain 10 pounds of muscle in a year.
Okay. You don't think a woman could?
No.
Why not?
I think testosterone is the main barrier.
Well, I mean, give me an idea, because you've been in the kind of athletic conditioning, all of that game for a while. I mean, is this based on your own personal observation of people over the years? Is that?
Well, you know, a limited amount of that. I haven't exactly measured anyone for how much muscle they've gained in a year. But there's some research on how much more testosterone men carry than women, and I don't offhand know the percentage difference.
It's big. Men have like about 10 times more testosterone.
It's huge.
But if that was the only difference between, if that was such a telling difference, as I said to you last summer, women would just be flopped down on the ground, you know, because so it can't just be this.
No, it can't, but it's a major player.
Okay.
And you can't discount the fact that it's a major player.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. All right, so you're basically, the bottom line is, for lack of better evidence, shooting for about 15% above contest weight. We did a couple of back-of-the-envelope calculations, and you had, I think, set for yourself a hard weight target, right?
Correct.
And oddly enough, our 15% above contest weight sort of fit with your hard weight target.
It did.
Which was astonishing, I thought.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, it was. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. Now, how often are you weighing yourself?
Once a week.
Once a week? Okay, so you're sticking to that. Okay. All right. Well, this is, I love that much. This is a happy topic for you, Arnold?
No, this is all right.
Okay. All right. So we're in the high week of our first our first high week of our hypertrophy training is going to go on for 6 weeks. How do you feel it's going?
The whole hypertrophy program?
Yeah.
I think it's gone great, actually.
Yeah?
You know, like we said initially, started out a little, 60% feels like nothing. Are we sure we're doing the right thing? Maybe we should be doing something else.
Right.
And then we hit 70%.
Now, it's not a standard bodybuilding routine, right? I mean, standard bodybuilding routine seems to be, you know, basically you're doing about 1 billion exercises, and you're walking away in a constant state of soreness and incomplete recovery, right?
Right, which has also been a nice change for this.
Right.
Because we come in, we do our set exercises at our set percentage. It's varied enough in terms of body parts that you don't feel like you're just killing one body part every time you come in. And I like the progression in terms of the percentages of weights that we're using, because today, I mean, we worked it today. We were at 75%, 4 sets for everything.
Yeah.
And it was not easy.
No, although what I was amazed at was that we were able to make it, which sort of tells me that because 75% of 10 reps is the equivalent of a 1 rep max. And so we were doing, we were working at a pretty high level. Now, mind you, I think at the end of the last bodybuilding competition prep, we got knocked down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're not at our highest ever. But I sort of felt like we made some real gains. And I was front pressing 40-pound dumbbells today.
Agreed.
Which is pretty good. And so what I like about it is there's this sort of staircase approach. You kind of feel like you're kind of pulling yourself up, and you do actually. I mean, it sort of felt really possible to do with it. I felt like I'd gotten stronger.
Yep, I agree.
Which I think is a real benefit to this approach versus the other. And the other thing is I've noticed some of my nagging injuries have really started to die down in a big way. And I think that's just because we're not doing 4 bicep exercises.
Right.
You know, which is sort of what we would have done in the past.
Well, body parts are getting a fair chance to recover.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, you know, particularly as you start to get more concrete about when your next competition is. Because I have a feeling that's going to be a couple of years, to be honest.
Probably.
I mean, it's going to be when you start getting nervous about, you know, am I prepping for my competition right? Will you be able to stick with the program?
I don't know. I'm pretty hard-headed.
Hold on. Now, I said that to you in a previous podcast, and the visual reaction was kind of like, what? You know, there was this sort of you were taken aback by it. But yes, I'm glad to hear you admit that. You're a little hard-headed. My cut would be, let's see how it goes at the end of this 6 weeks. When should we do our one rep max again?
At the end of the 6 weeks.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, and I don't want one of your usual answers. And I'll tell you when
you might get it.
Okay, should I be weighing myself every week?
I think you should.
God damn, Arnold. See, I cued you in. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Gibson, it depends on what you want, right? But now...
I admit to nothing. Especially since it's Dante.
All right, Arnold. Well, maybe I should. Because that's actually what got me going on the weight loss thing last time. Was the viewer. All right.